If we look at the X and the Y paradigm as your two different realities, your X paradigm is your old patterning, your old programming that you are trying to reprogram yourself away from and let those old versions of you die, and your Y paradigm being your new life that you're trying to create and the new version of yourself that you are trying to become and embody. You also need to look at the X and the Y paradigm like the devil and the angel on your shoulders, like in the old cartoons. The devil is always whispering in your ear, pulling you down, trying to make you believe the illusions of the third dimension, and trying to make you to succumb to your old limiting beliefs. And sometimes we have beliefs lurking under the surface that we don't even really consciously know are there. But the devil is always there whispering in your ear, trying to make you believe all the things you always tell yourself. And what you're trying to do is rewire your brain and rewire these programmings within your brain. Because right now you have certain neural pathways that are easier for the brain to take. It's like a well-groomed trail in your brain, and you're trying to create a new neural pathway in your brain that is not one of trauma and lack and the things that you're used to telling yourself and believing. You have to consciously, actively dedicate yourself every day to this new belief and these new ways of being. And it's so easy to get pulled into those other neural pathways because it has like a gravitational pull. It's what you're used to. But the thing is that's the paradox of this realm, is that it's always both. In every moment you have to choose. You have to choose which reality you want to be a part of. And you must remember that just like the trauma patterns in your brain that you have been trying to rewire, it's easier to follow old pathways because they are familiar. If you're choosing to forge new paths, you have to blaze your way through until the old paths are overgrown. And then those ones become the ones that are harder to walk. Because after a time of embodying new version of yourself and new healthier ways of being and acting and thinking, you won't be so familiar or comfortable with the old patterns and the old things you tell yourself. They won't feel the same. And it won't feel so comfortable to walk in the shoes of the old versions of yourself because you don't know them as well anymore. And they're not as easy to recognize. Right now, the unknown is harder to see, but is much more easier and fun and more joyous. You have to remember that your old ways got you everything that you have been trying to break free from. Everything you've already experienced, everything that you know that you don't want anymore, and that's why you're trying to create new. So you know what comes from walking those old paths and those old patterns. If you want something new, you have to be something new. And so you have to decide not to take those paths anymore. It's the good wolf or the bad wolf. Which one will you feed? Listen to the angel or the devil? It's always this and that. So you need to stay on top of your shit. It's about maintaining a feeling and knowing of what you know your reality should be. Joe Dispenza says this: once your body is connected to the feeling of your future, it becomes innate. Your body can and will do it better than your mind because it becomes automatic. And your mind will try to tell you it's not happening while you're trying to manifest. And so the key is to remain calm during your manifestations, holding steady no matter what external illusions try to show or trick you into believing. Hold the knowing of that old you doesn't apply anymore, and remind yourself daily of how far you've come so that you can see physical evidence of the fact that that version of you is no longer applies, and that you are maintaining a new, more abundant lifestyle for yourself. And it is happening slowly so that your mind doesn't trick you into giving up. on the work that you've done so far. Like Rick from Rick and Morty. Become so certain of yourself that it doesn't matter what the chaos is around you, or what the chaos of this illusionary realm is projecting. Because no matter what, you know who you are and what you are. Become so confident in your new self that it doesn't matter what is happening around you. You know that that's only a temporary illusion of the X paradigm, your old way of life trying to pull you back. Because it wants to remain existent, it wants to remain relevant, it wants to remain alive when you're trying to create something new. It's an ego death. And the ego's only goal is to survive. So as you become reborn into another ego, another version of yourself, the ego doesn't entirely die, just that version does. But during that period, it lashes out and wants to stay relevant and remind you of who you were as you become who you are. It's hard to trust the person you are when you're still attached to who you were. You have to let go of old coping mechanisms, of old ways of survival, of old ways of thinking that keep you stuck and perpetuating same things from your old reality as you try to manifest new. I've said it before. The more sure of yourself and reality you are, the less wiggle room the Matrix has to project anything other than your own beliefs. Don't let the devil widen the space by falling into old beliefs. This world will always be a reflection of your beliefs. This is the only thing that maintains the same as time goes on, because it's the fabric of this matrix. As above, so below, as within, so without. This world is a reflection of your internal world. What you believe to be true will manifest externally. It is law of this matrix. Use it to your advantage. Solidify your beliefs. As within, so without. Fundamental property of this realm. So this is something you need to master. It's pretty much top priority in order to consciously create your reality. Notice how things start to fall off the rails when you just go about your days without intention. Your trajectory falls off, or things start to become unconsciously created. Intentions keep you in the driver's seat. You don't control the road, just the direction you're heading in. This is what setting intentions about your day does. Not unconsciously manifesting things, you are actively steering in a direction by not succumbing to old patterns unconsciously, but by actively projecting and embodying a new version of yourself and new habits, new thoughts, new reality. If you don't want to reincarnate again, then I suggest you focus on the mission this time. Your soul's sorrow and homesickness is twofold and all linked in the success and or perceived failure of the mission. So you should be striving to get to a point in life in this mission, this time around, where you feel content with the result, or your soul will only want to come back again, because its initial pain stemmed from the first time it ever tried to complete this mission of raising the vibration and the consciousness of Earth. And whatever happened in your past lives keeps being pulled through into each new incarnation, because it feels as though it failed the mission, so it keeps having to try and try again until it feels as though it succeeded in bringing home here, because what it lost and what it gave up to come here each and every time, but also stemming from the very first time, is what keeps it needing to succeed in the mission. So you need to come to a place within yourself of feeling as though you've created what you came here to create, which is home here. Becoming a version of yourself that is in this world and not of it. Creating a life of joy and authenticity, and not one that you're programmed to believe you should create, that only benefits the other sources of power in this realm that have used us to create their reality. Create your own reality so that your soul feels content with what it has been trying to do all these incarnations. Raise the consciousness and help the people see that there is another way to be. This is the only way you won't feel the need to come back again. And if that's not motivation, I don't know what is. Do it so that you don't have to come back again. It's pretty rough if you ask me, so get it done this time around. You are here to teach them how to be in this world and not of it. And that is what you need to remember. Actively choose to be the highest version of yourself in every moment so that you don't fall into old patterns and create the same old shit. Wake up every day with the intent to be the highest version of yourself, embody the highest and most authentic version of yourself so you don't continue to create the same unfulfilling version and reality for yourself. Choose to feed the good wolf every day. Choose to listen to your inner angel every day and not your inner demon that tells you all the things you always tell yourself that hold you back. One step at a time. One moment at a time. Maintain your why paradigm. Maintain creating your new reality. A new world. An example for others to follow.